Okay, next up we have Sudha. Sudha's been a practitioner for the last 13 years. She's deeply involved with both Health India and Education India. A lot of her focus since starting in 2005 has been working with children with ADD and ADHD, behavioral and learning dysfunction, disabilities, and challenges. She was showing me a video not but 20 minutes ago of a child that she worked with for 20 minutes that came in with quite a pronounced stutter. And after 20 minutes of working with Sudha, that stutter was completely gone. It was pretty crazy watching that video. At this point, her focus is neuroplasty and super learning. And I believe that is also the topic of her lecture today. So please put your hands together for Sudha.
I would just first like to tell you all how and why I came into biofeedback. I have 2 small children, and when my elder one was nearly 3 years old, he was suffering with various physical disorders, and we were never able to find out what it was. And 1 year before that, there was someone who came and told me that there's black magic done on me, and I need to get it out. I tried various techniques and nothing was working. So I went on to a doctor who had got this biofeedback device, and when we checked there, it was sugar stress. There was no black magic. It was sugar stress. So I found myself so foolish, like, we start believing in things which may not be required. And here you have a device which can detect exactly what is the problem with you. And then when it came on to my child, I used to be taking my child for sessions, and he's getting better, but then I saw something called the super learning. And I felt, yeah, I am such a careless mother. I want to get this super learning thing for my child. And that was the reason I bought the device. And I started working. My children don't go for tuitions. In India, there's a trend that you have to send children for tuitions, and there's a lot of competition. Everyone has to study, 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 study. My children play. My children play, that's because of the biofeedback. The super learning program can be run on anyone, on children, autistic children, normal people. All of us need to learn more. We all get blocked with certain ideas, certain implants, whatever we are stuck with. To get out of it, the super learning works very well. And to work on children, autistic children, I always find working on the mother and then working on the child gives you results. Because it's the parents who are more stuck, who will not allow the child to move on. I've had results of one autistic child who had come to me, and I worked on the mother because the mother was a best friend of mine, and she came in crying. And then we worked on this boy for half an hour. That was it. We didn't have to work any further. One, if we are not in the proving mode, if we don't want to prove to anybody that we are going to achieve, we can achieve. Before working on the client, correct our own breath. Calm down our breath. So 7 or 8 deep inhales and exhales will allow us to calm down and focus on what is required. Same way, even before you attach the client, you can ask the client to also breathe. Relax their breathing. Relax their breathing. Ask them a few questions which are apart from the demographics. Always the brain is connected with the digestive system. And today's world, because of the electronic gadgets, the digestive system is defunct for everybody. The digestive system is ruled by the solar plexus. It's called the solar plexus, the chakra. But we don't eat during solar hours. We're all eating in lunar hours. The digestive system gets bad, and then we go for therapy after therapy, therapy after therapy, and things don't work. We have every possibility within our own hands. I think all of us, we discussed last time, we did the mudras also. This is the fire element, the air element, the space element, earth element, and the water element. When all these 5 are balanced, the body is working well. What is responsible for the brain function is the air element. The speed of thoughts. We always keep thinking. We have thoughts which run fast. So if you want to increase the speed of thoughts, then you give fire to the bottom. And if you want to decrease, then you press the center. And if you want to balance, then it's the center. It's just touching the tips. This was a boy who came home with my son, and he was stammering. He couldn't even, I just asked him what's his name, and he had, he wasn't. It was just 20 minutes. We have volume.
7th week, very good. And when stammering कब से चालू था वो याद नहीं है. Okay. अभी कितने मिनट में बंद हुआ?
It took some 15-20 minutes.
You are not saved this number.
Very nice. Okay. And you're very happy now, right? Which school are you studying in?
IES.
Which branch?
Mulund.
Okay. Today you're going to go home and tell your mother also.
Yes.
She'll also be happy? You don't know if she'll be happy? Huh?
I will be happy.
So it's our intent which is very important. If we are calm and allow the other person also to be calm, it was just only one single session of 20 minutes. That's all. We didn't need another session. Even the child who was autistic, I don't have his photograph, he is getting married to the Princess of UAE on the 17th of November now. He was autistic. We did just one single session. So it can be worked very easily. I always use the time therapies before I go into the super learning. I ask the client, what time do they go to sleep? Are you all aware of how sleep is affecting our brain? And most of the people don't sleep well. So I go on to a sleep and relaxation and then use the electrohypnosis to feed in affirmations. Do you all use the electrohypnosis ever? Because when you go into the sleep and relaxation, the mind is more receptive to the electrohypnosis. And then do a bad behavior therapy, whether it's a small child or it's an elder person, anybody, all of us can do with a bad behavior therapy because it brings us more focus to our own selves. We start improving upon ourselves. And after this, I go down to the spinal में वो NLP में. NLP, go on to the survival awareness. The meta-analysis 2. The colored ones, they give you the areas where the person is caught up, where they need to come out. No, you just have to treat the color items, but over here, I like to take a printout of this page and work on the client physically, so that the client takes responsibility and understands where they are caught up. Like over here, it says need for self-esteem. So I normally use these 5 words: revive, recognize, realign, reorient, and reposition. So if my client is there, like I'll say, repeat after me, I'll say, I revive my need for self-esteem. I recognize my need for self-esteem. I realign my need for self-esteem. I reorient my need for self-esteem. I reposition my need for self-esteem. Then I revive, I recognize, I'm going to give you all the notes by tomorrow, so you all can just listen. The next phrase will be, I revive, I recognize, I realign, I reorient, I reposition the reason behind my need for self-esteem. The third phrase will be, I revive, I recognize, I realign, I reorient, I reposition the brilliance in my need for self-esteem. For everything we are caught up in, there is a reason and there is a brilliance. So when you keep repeating that, the reason and the brilliance both comes up to the person and they are able to release. How will you find out if the client has released where they are caught up? They will start yawning, or they will cough, or they will burp. You'll make out easily. I worked that way on this boy. You know, he just instantly started yawning and his stammering stopped. So even with autistic children, if you work on the parents first, it's so much easier to work on the child. It's so much easier. So this particular page is very important, which I don't think any of us normally use. You do? Okay. So this is really important, you can get out of it. But and then you can also go, if the person is, if it's a normal client, it's okay. But if the person is autistic, then go into the unconscious reactivity also and work on that panel. All the colored ones. By all the colored ones, you can treat directly there. But look at this and highlight what you need. When you're seeing the patient physically, you will know that, okay, what is it? From his speech, you know the person is unsatisfied. What is it that you could work on them? Work on any 2 areas. That's enough. It will take care of all the areas. Yeah. You can also type in down there whatever the disease which has come up also. Can we just show them the unconscious reactivity panel? This part is clear? And then we can come out of this and we do a little bit of karma dissipation because the child is autistic. Autism is always, I relate it to the karma of the parents. They're supposed to go through some suffering. So, and then when we get connected as a therapist, there is our karma also involved over there. So every client, if you do the karma dissipation, we don't get caught into that. In India, we follow a lot of timing principles. I don't work on anybody between 4 to 5 in the evening because that's a time which will absorb you into the other person's karma. 4 to 5 in the evening is a karma absorption time. You going and working into somebody else's karma. So kind of, you know, you immediately pull in that karma. So we don't work between 4 to 5 in the evening on especially healing modalities. We don't touch anyone during 4 to 5 p.m. Yeah. The DNA correction can also be done here. And also what we could do is, after this, even in the electrohypnosis, we can do the integration of the body-mind soul, since it's not there in this program. In the electrohypnosis, we could repeat and say, integrate body, mind, and soul. See, I'll just give you some example. You know, like I have a phone call, I receive a phone call, and I don't feel like answering. If I tell my child, just pick up and say, I'm not at home. My mind is getting disintegrated. When I speak the truth, my body is integrated. If I'm speaking the truth all the time, I'm integrated. You know, we talk about integrity because if body, mind, and soul are all together in one, the child who's autistic is not integrated. The person who's not able to learn is not integrated. That's why I say work on the parents. Work on the parents and then work on the child. So over here, when we give a command of integrating body, mind, and soul, you can even use the word instantaneously. Because if a miracle has to happen, it can happen instantaneously. And if you want the miracles to happen, then breathe slow. Like, you know, when we're angry, or when you're, you know, in kind of stress, then you breathe short. But if you breathe deep from your stomach, exhale from your stomach, inhale. So when your breathing is very calm, then miracles are instantaneous. Your desires are instantaneously resolved. Just one moment. Enhanced learning. Yeah, tell me. Excuse.
We do when the person is autistic.
Yeah.
We do the unconscious choice, right?
Unconscious choice. Yes.
Afterwards, if it doesn't matter if it's autistic or not, we go again to NLP
Yeah.
and we do if he's autistic, we dissipate karma.
Yeah. I do karma dissipation for everybody. Like if I'm doing a therapy on you also, I will do the karma dissipation because I don't want to enter into your karma.
Okay. After the dissipate karma, I lost because you picked the special quest line and I don't know where we need to.
Yeah. No, because in this, in the other reductor, there's this body-mind-soul integration. We don't have it on this. So you can put it on the electro-hypnosis, integrate body, mind and soul instantaneously. And over here, you can choose what all you need and you can have the timing. This is from enhanced learning. When you click on it, then you get that. The first time we're doing the session on somebody, then we don't do for more than about 10 minutes to let's see how they respond to it. And then the rest of the sessions can be done even on a distance. They don't even need to come in person. See, I work with children. I work at one time maybe with 60 children. So I just take all their birth details. I feed it and I do group therapies and I'm getting amazing results. Each of them has a good result because I don't charge. So I do it on a Thursday, every Thursday. Because basically the planets which rule education are Mercury and Jupiter. So working on these 2 days is going to enhance your results for super learning. And if the person is mentally disturbed, then take a Monday along. If the person is mentally disturbed, there's a relationship issue, there's some other issue which is bothering because of which they're not able to learn, then use a Monday to clear the relationship issue and then go on. Because it's connected with the moon. On a Monday, you can work on all the relationship issues because it helps clear the mind. All blood-related issues, you can work on a Tuesday. Mars. Anything for cleaning up the blood. Tuesday is ruled by Mars. Yeah. Any beauty-related therapies, reverse aging, all these things you could work on a Friday. Fridays for beauty therapies, Venus. Venus rules Fridays. Saturday for stability. Saturday, always work on yourself. Avoid working on others because Saturday is completely karma. Saturday is completely getting involved into other people's karma. Sunday is for the solar plexus, the digestive system. See, in the chakra system, the 7 chakras, we have the root chakra, which is ruled by Mars. We have the creative chakra, the womb area, which is ruled by Mercury. So to enhance the creativity, it is Mercury. So that's why we talk about working on Wednesdays for the super learning. The solar plexus, the digestive system is ruled by Sun. Our whole digestive system is ruled by the Sun. Normally when somebody comes to me for a therapy, I give them, because I don't charge people, I tell them 33 days do planting. Plant seeds, plant trees. Because in those 33 days, they will learn to work with the plants and get the energy of the plants and start correcting themselves. If you see plants, they wake up with the rising sun and they shut down with the sunset, So at least when you're with plants, you start picking up those energies and going back to nature. The heart chakra is always dual in nature and is ruled by Venus. The throat chakra is ruled by Jupiter, our clarity. People, when they can't talk clearly, that Jupiter is affected. Sorry. No problem. No. Thank you very much. The Saturn rules the thoughts. All our thoughts are ruled by Saturn. And in Sanskrit, it's called the Agya Chakra. Agya in Sanskrit means permission. So anything you want to correct, anything you want to correct in your life, you need to give your permission, self-permission that you can correct it. So same way if the client is in a really bad stuck-up state, you have to tell them that you need to grant yourself the permission to move on. So that again, that kind of an affirmation you can make and put it in the electrohypnosis, but let the person be aware that you're going to do the electrohypnosis. Then moon is the resource energy, that's the Sahasra Chakra. So what is very important is the Saturn ruling the thoughts. So now, again when we come back to the client, when you teach them, if it's an autistic child, then on the top of the thumb, you apply orange color. In India, we use some color called mehendi, which is coming from the herbs, but sketch pens work well. For autism, it is orange. And if it's a normal person, you want to enhance the learning, then you can use lavender on top. On the back of the thumb, you can put a walnut, piece of walnut, and put a micropore tape. A gentle massage here. Walnut, what we eat. Instead of eating, you can apply a walnut on the back of the thumb, the nail part, and apply a micropore tape on top. The tape breathes. It has small holes to breathe. 4 hours per day, and within 21 days, your super learning therapy would have been completed just with 3 sessions on biofeedback. 21 days, teach them to be self-reliant. This will work very well. Even okra works. We call it lady's finger, the green vegetable, which is good. Anything that you know is good for the brain function, even without the intake, you can always apply on the back of the nail. How many of you know what is sujok? Have you all heard of sujok? Sujok? You've heard of sujok. Yeah? So in sujok, it's the hand which represents the whole body. See, we've got this wonderful device, but you know, the divine has made our whole body so beautiful. Within your palm, your whole body is represented. The thumb is representing the head. If it's my right hand, these last 2 fingers, the little one and the forefinger, they represent my hands. The center 2 represent my legs. The digestive system is below here. The stomach. The liver is down here. I'm going to give you all the chart. So anything that you need to treat on the body, you can just treat that point in the palm. It's so easy. You know, sometimes you have people coming and you really don't want to sit on the device for so long. You can do something very quick and it can happen so beautifully. But always remember, things will work out well when you breathe. The deep inhale and exhale is very important. The Vayu Mudra is the forefinger. You touch the base of the forefinger, it increases the brain function. It increases your ability to understand. If you press it, it reduces. For hyperactive children, you need to press. And you want to bring balance in thoughts, then it's the Gyan Mudra. And if somebody is done, like, you know, you've studied a lot, and you still want to, you can't recollect things, then you need to tap into your awareness. And for that, I'm sorry, I have to keep the mic down. This mudra, it'll help you get all the answers. You don't even need me to tell you anything about super learning. When you all want to find out something for yourselves, hold your hand in this mudra. The answers will start downloading because you'll be connecting to your consciousness. The forefinger, close it. Is this really?
the stimming behaviors of children in autism? They stim themselves? Is this what they're
Yes.
doing? Yes. I never understood what they were doing, but now I see it.
Yeah. So this one will allow us to tap into our consciousness. Yeah. We need to hold the forefinger and cover it with the rest of the fingers of the other hand, and this will allow us to tap into our own consciousness. You're going in for a quiz contest or for exams, you'll be able to download all the answers. You don't need to learn.
We don't need to pee here?
No, you can hold it just around. I'm just showing it a little higher, that's all. See. There's another mudra. Yeah, so we've done the Vayu mudra. We've done the Vayu mudra. We've done the mudra to access your consciousness. And then there is another mudra called the Hakini mudra. In the Hakini mudra, you join the tips of both the fingers, both the hands, yes. The Hakini mudra helps balance the entire body. You see people normally in the speeches and all, they will be holding their hands in the Hakini mudra. It will help increase the confidence, remove all the nervousness, and move on to super learning. These are all natural methods of super learning. And when you're doing it along with the biofeedback program, then you know that it's going to be enhanced because the client starts taking responsibility. You are teaching the client to work on themselves. They do something and you do something, and then the result is amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I will give it to you. I'll give it to you. The Hakini mudra, you can do it for 1 minute also, it works very well. In every hour for 5 minutes is fantastic. Now, before all this, there is one mudra called the Pushan mudra. Do you know how to do the Pushan mudra? Can you show? Okay, can you please come out again? The Pushan mudra is one which helps the digestive system recover, because the digestive system is very important for the brain function. So in the Pushan mudra, so the left hand is in the Apan and the right in the Vyan. This is called the Pushan mudra. The worst kind of digestive disorder will get set right. This needs to be done 15 minutes after breakfast, 15 minutes after lunch, 15 minutes after dinner. Can you please go around and show it to them? 15 minutes at a stretch. 15 minutes after breakfast. Yeah. After lunch, after breakfast, after lunch, after dinner. Yeah, these are mudras. Yeah, mudra techniques. And they work very fast. They work very fast. It's called the Pushan mudra. Pushan means gold or recovery in Sanskrit. And then one final mudra, which is my favorite, because it increases your flexibility, allows you to take other people's thoughts. Because sometimes we are so rigid and we don't want to learn. You know? To remove that rigidity, we do the Kamadhenu mudra or the Surabhi mudra. One moment. The cross both the fingers of the first two fingers, and then
Finger, index finger, middle finger, index finger, little finger, ring finger, ring finger. Index finger, middle finger.
it's like interchange these two fingers,
Little finger, ring finger.
and then interchange the last two fingers with a thumbs up. Thank you. Interchange the first two fingers. Interchange. Interchange the last two fingers and put the thumbs up.
It's quite easy.
This will increase the flexibility. It's called the Surabhi mudra. Surabhi mudra. There was a cow named Kamadhenu who was a wish fulfiller, you know, and the sage who owned the cow Anything he wanted, he would just ask the cow and the cow would give it. So this is the mudra of the cow. It's the Kamadhenu mudra. It's the mudra of the cow. So it will give you anything that you desire. This mudra, 20 minutes a day, is fantastic. Anything that you desire, anything that you wish for, will come when your flexibility increases. If we are rigid, we are never able to achieve. So this you achieve through flexibility. The first 2 days you do 2-3 minutes, and after that slowly increase it to 20 minutes. 20 minutes in a stretch for even 10-15 days is more than enough. You think of whatever you want and you can achieve. See, whatever I express is only after what I've tried on myself, okay? And I have been suffering for years with my child's ill health. And I've always been looking for what is going to be next, what's going to be next. And the reason why I never get, like I can't even open my mouth and ask people for money for whatever work I do, because I feel I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough because I can't work on my child, and how can I work on others? And it's only recently I got a breakthrough for my child. See, this is how my child was till about 3 months ago. He could not even drink water. And when I would do the biofeedback, doing it for others is easy. But when you work on your own family and then you get cancer and these things, it plays on the mind, So to break through out of it had not been easy. But then now, he's absolutely fine. And we found guava leaves to be absolutely magical. I said, that's why, I always like to tell the clients, connect with the environment, connect with plants, connect with animals, connect with nature. And there's one more technique which you all can share with your clients is visualization. Visualization. Because we all face some problem. When we all face some problem, the problem is happening through the day. When we go to bed, we sleep with it. So your subconscious is absorbing the problem. And the subconscious starts inviting more of it. How do you put a full stop to that? How do you put a full stop to your subconscious absorbing more of the problems? Start visualizing things how you would have liked the day to be. Instead of what has happened, don't think of the negatives. Just before you sleep, the mind is in a hypnotic state, start visualizing. So if it's an autistic child, teach the parents to visualize the child being normal. So the subconscious starts inviting solutions. The solution may not be through us, may not be through biofeedback, may be through somebody else. It doesn't matter. All we have to do is help them get out. They don't even need to come back and thank us. Just do it without expectations and things will start moving. Teach the parents to visualize. And whenever parents come and tell me my child is not studying well, I tell them change the statement. Say, how can my child study well? Instead of, making affirmations that my child is not studying well, ask a question, how can my child study well? When you ask questions, the universe answers. So ask positive questions, and the universe starts giving positive answers. None of us have had a rosy life. So there's nothing, we're all learning. We're all learning. So there's nothing which is bad. There's no right, there's no wrong, there's no good, there's no bad. Each one's perception is what we are living. And when you start dropping all your expectations, your perceptions, you start raising your vibrations, automatically the device will show you things which will be amazing. The device is just beyond human mind. It is just, there was one time when my husband was stuck in the rains. In Chennai, there were heavy rains, and we had come away, my children and myself had come away to Bombay. And he never used to believe in the device. And he used to get irritated because, I wouldn't see day and night. I would work 24/7 with the device. So he never liked it. One day he called me up, he said, he called my son and said, ask your mom to work on me. So I just started working. I said, did he actually ask for it? I started working. And then there was something which popped up, environmental connectivity. I had never worked on it earlier. I never even knew there's something called environmental connectivity work existing in it. So when you start working with surrender, the device will open up and show you amazing things. But work on yourself at least once a week. More than working on clients, I say work on yourself at least once a week and make that possibly a Saturday when you can work on yourself, because it's a day of self-development. Then coming to sleep, which is a very important factor in super learning, it's very important for everything. How many of us are aware that the breathing in the nostril alters every 2 hours and some time? And between every alteration from one nostril to the other nostril, when it is changing, for 56 seconds, both the nostrils breathe. When the left is working, it's called the Ida, or the moon ruling. When the right is working, it's called the Pingla, it's the sun ruling. And when both are working, it's called the Sushumna, or the vagus nerve. And if you sleep on time, at least by 8 p.m., then in the morning, for 7 or 8 minutes before sunrise, your vagus nerve is active. That is, both the nostrils are breathing. When that happens, the body repairs itself. We do not need any therapy. The nostrils alter breath. From one nostril to the other nostril, every 2 hours, 15 minutes, the nostrils are altering breath. When it is changing from one nostril to the other nostril, both the nostrils together breathe for 56 seconds. During those 56 seconds, the body gets repaired naturally. If we sleep on time, the 56 seconds is extended to 7 minutes before sunrise. 7 minutes before sunrise, both the nostrils breathe naturally, which repair the body completely. So why sleep is so important, and especially for autistic children, the mothers especially. Because if the mother is not going to be in bed on time, whatever we work on the children is not going to be so effective. So the mother is very important over there. I kept working on my child. I kept taking him to different hospitals. I stopped. I said, I'll start working on myself. The moment I started working on myself, then it was just 1 month and the breakthrough happened. Because otherwise, any amount of spending on the child was not working. So we've got the sleep, food on time, the mudras, the protocol, visualization. If we do this, super learning is going to be working beautifully for each and every person. You can try it on yourselves before working on the client. Each of us, try it on yourself. Do just 1 week and see the difference what's happening in 3 weeks. See how amazing things open up in your life. I'm always amazed. Every day I learn something. Every day I learn something. And now I've learned how to integrate all the learnings. Like I never knew that I could just apply walnut and we could clear autism. You know? And I just got it. And I feel so wonderful sharing it. And when you start working on yourself, do the super learning for yourself and see how things open up. And let's all form a group, maybe on Telegram or on WhatsApp, and we keep sharing information, you know. Yeah, because what happens is melatonin production is at its peak between 9 to 11 p.m. If you're going to be sleeping after 11 p.m., your body is not going to get the proper melatonin, and then automatically your body goes into either depression or aggression. I'm going to give them all to you in writing. I'm just giving you the pointers. I've got detailed write-ups. By tomorrow, I would have the printouts. My first session, I don't do more than 10 minutes because the first session, I work on all the parameters and then come to super learning. I do the test, then I do the trivector, I do the automeridian, and then come on to this. But from the second session onwards, I go directly to super learning. And so then from the second session onwards, it's half an hour. If I'm doing group sessions, I told you where I work on 60 students at a time, then it's 2 hours of super learning. I work from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning because the children would be sleeping that time and they can receive well. So I do free sessions on every Thursday morning. Yeah. I get a list. See, it's the intention which counts, and then you can put, you can go into this ELF magnetic field, and then you can enter all the details. Yeah.
Sorry, given that autism is usually a dopamine problem, is learning, do you deworm people because of the dopamine feeds?
Yeah, that's what I said. The first test will give us what all we need.
I was just saying, most learning difficulties come from dopamine. Most learning difficulties come from low dopamine or high dopamine. Low dopamine in ADHD, high dopamine in autism. Almost all of those kids have worms changing their zinc and dopamine levels, so I tend to deworm them all before I try to get them learning. I'm just wondering if you put that early in your protocol or later? Or?
No, we do it, and that's why I said, when I give you the pictures, see, I work with the hand on that. The hand, this is the stomach area. So I use colors for doing the deworming. Give the mother the responsibility to get the child dewormed with the colors. Orange is on the thumb. I will give you all the color chart.
You have mentioned you're doing the group therapies of more of them. How do you do like 60 people or 60 children at the same time?
Yeah.
How do you perform the super learning on 60 people? Or
there you don't go on to individual tests. Then you're not going on to individual tests. You're not. This is just for regular school children to increase their learning capabilities, to bring them on to regulation, remove their bad behavior and all. And in the ELF magnetic, you can go there and list out all the people you want to add on. You can also, you know what I do? I make them into groups. I'll say group A, group B, and I will just say group here, and the rest of it will be there. I will have the list with me, but over there, the group A means so many people. And it works. You get fantastic results. And you have the list with you. And you know this is, the intention is that this group is having so many people, this group has so many people. With that. I've even run a prosperity program for people, a group program for people from different parts of the world, and we did try it. And it was so amazing. There was one lady whose husband was not talking to her. He was not sending her any money. He had just instantly, like we were towards the close of the program, he transferred $1,500 into her account, and she was very, very happy, you know. And in the group programs when we go into the unconscious and do a karmic release, because, you know, the entire group is connected karmically.
And another way you could do that is put the room that they're all in, so we could put this room as the client.
Yeah, here we could do it as a room, but over there when I'm working on the children between 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. That is why I can't do it as a room. But what she says is a fantastic idea over here as a room. We could try it on one of the days. You know,
Super learning on all of you.
We could do that. And
So the demographics would be the name of the hotel's room and yesterday's date. You must be 1 day old in order for the device to work. So the name of our testing case to be tested today would be access a new patient. Call this,
Yesterday we were in a different room though.
the Quest 9 conference room. What's the name of this room?
Helia room, right?
Helia room at the Danubius Hotel. And the date of the birth of the conference would have to be 1 day old, so you'd put 24. Okay? In the place of birth of Budapest. So there's the conference room, and then when you would calibrate to the conference room.
So by the time she's entering, then I think everyone can take deep inhales and exhales. Yeah, you all can drink some water, take off all the metals on yourself.
And if I may be so bold, may I just show you one trick which we talked about earlier, which is if there is a spiritual attack on the room, you can clear it through the risk field neutralization before you even tested the person. So after you see the calibration, you'll notice, for instance, if the resonant frequency pattern here is very disturbed, just look over here at the risk field neutralization where you clear the field. Sorry, let me just let it finish. Under the search and clear field anomalies, you will be able to see the Verhop vital scores before you even test. So if the Verhop score is drastically strange, like instead of the resonant frequency pattern being 1100 or whatever, maybe it was 17,000 or 17 million, you know that there's some disturbance in that environment before you even test. Then you can remove the entity first so that you're actually testing the true room. Because if you test the entity, you could be increasing and giving it energy. Is that
You're
strange
right.
in calibration for some reason? I can't seem to get it to...
Why don't you do the fast track calibration up there? Up.
I'm
Yeah.
just showing you that the numbers here... Oh, okay, so when you look on this parameter, see how it's only got one column of numbers there? That means there's only one person being tested. But this device was made for pregnant women. So if there was another fetus inside her, they left a second column of numbers right beside here. Sometimes you see yellow boxes. That yellow box means that there's another presence, another entity, another brain, a tapeworm brain, a fluke brain, some other colony of a yeast brain. So if there's a second column of numbers already, you can clear the karma of that by closing here and go to risk neutralization window. You show the harmonics, and if the harmonics are flat, it should be 7,830. But this room is very flat in harmonics. So we tune the harmonics and say, well, is there stress in the room? Is the geopathic stress because the room is flat from an environmental reason? Or is it flattened because a spiritual oppression is on the room? If you see the yellow boxes, you know for sure you got problems. And if the yellow box is up here, notice it says there's no major stress in this room to cause this flattening, and after we clean the room it's up to 5,900, but it's still not perfectly harmonic. So close this box, all the way to close, and reopen it again, and the second time you open it, another box opens up called Treat Temporal Anomaly. That's where the ghost could be taken off before you test. So now I'm just testing a clean room. I'm not testing you plus the entities in the room. You follow? And many psychological disturbances in autistic children have other parasites in them that show a second brain engram having compulsions and sugar addiction and bizarre behaviors that are not the child's behavior. It's the entity of the parasitic brain. And so you'll notice that you can increase your own workspace. If you are working with very sick people all day, at the end of the day, you might want to clear your office and get all that energy out of your office. So now when I look at the neutralization, you could do this several times if you felt that it wasn't corrected, okay? But that's just another way to get the super learning clearing the decks so they can actually receive better.
Absolutely. So are we doing a small test for them?
Yeah.
உங்களுக்கு டைம் ஆயிடுதா பாருங்க. What's the time?
So just while you're waiting, before you even opened it up, the voltage is 72, which means low what? Low voltage means low adrenals, low catecholamines. The amperage means your lymph nodes, your serotonin, so the 75%, so you're low in lymph, serotonin, ascending colon issues. The resistance is 77, which means you're low in minerals by a quarter of a tank. The hydration is 46%. Go and drink some water on the break. The oxygen is only 79%. If it's less than 95, it's a steep fall. So it has to be way better than that. Look at the mean resonant frequency pattern, says 0. Strange number, must be something unusual. The speed is over 100. That's absolutely 5 times normal. So maybe we're picking up mold in the room or a flat room or the dynamics of a room that's not human. So it says I'm not very vibratory because I'm a flat room, but something unusual in the speed at minus 133. The phase angle is low, the vitality is okay, the proton electron pressure should be 70 and 70. Equal by approximately pH 7 or 7.4 would be 74. If you saw the protons at 89, that's high alkaline, meaning alkaline gut. If you saw the electrons that were higher than 70, it would mean pus or infection or acidosis, very severe. Right now, it looks like the pH is pretty good. So even before I open that person up or that room up, I know what's going on. So I encourage you to look at that parameters button before you open up all the tests. And if there's 2 columns of numbers, you got trouble.
So you all can close your eyes and hold yourself in the mudra, any of the mudras you like, and just let's do it for 3 minutes.
Okay. Which one? Super learning?
Directly super learning.
Super learning?
Yeah. Avoid the Kamadhenu mudra now because we don't want you to cross the hands.
Do you want super learning in this 3-minute zone or the other one?
Whichever, anything you can do. Yeah. Let them feel the energy.
So smart, it's already 103. We can go back to the other ones more intense. Let's do that.
I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Agathir. He's a Varma specialist. He's a Siddha doctor, a doctor who works with herbs. And in Varma therapy, which is an ancient Indian medicine therapy, there are 32 types of external medicine, and Varma is one of them. Instant remedies for diseases, and he uses the eductor, and Varma has made it easier.
Good evening, friends. I'm happy to stand behind you to introduce a special therapy which is called Varma therapy, which was taught in India in a Guru Sishya basis. You have to go and live with the Guru for 12 years, then he will teach the technique. It needs 12 years to learn the technique. But the scenario has changed when we take this course to the university. And I have trained 1,545 students in the past 6 years. And I would like to give a demo regarding this, the Varma. Actually, we talk about the energy inside, the energy. How many of you know how the energy enters into the body? When the energy enters into the body? When the energy enters into the body, it is said in the literatures, at the 8th month in the womb of the mother, the energy starts to build. That is the thing, base for the Mooladhara chakra and all other chakras to rise up. And there are about 108 points in the body, something similar to the acupuncture points. Some points will be similar to the acupuncture points in Chinese medicine, but the science is different. And out of this 108 points, the 12 points are dangerous. It should be pressed, it should be manipulated with special precautions. We will teach that after learning the 96 points. So what is the connection? Do anybody know? The chakras, the Varma points. These Varma points are essential, or they play the vital role in governing our vital functions. So the 6 chakras is connected to the 12 Paduvarmam points, which is dangerous, which when it is blown or unknowingly it is kicked, or sometimes we fall on that point, we hit over that point, it controls the another 12 points. So probably the vital function will start to deteriorate and the patient will die. This is the science behind it. So each chakra has its governance over the 12 Paduvarmam points. And I would like to give a demo about the Varma therapy to anyone who feel tired. Actually, I'm a world record holder in Varma therapy in treating autism children. As such, we use the Varma therapy and this ejector, the biofeedback. So we get more and more fast results. Okay, I'm the one yesterday I said 1,51,000. What is that? Yesterday is அது என்னது மேடம்? அந்த impedance நம்ம பார்ப்போம்ல Warhope, it is in the Warhope. I treated that patient with biofeedback and Varma. So I reduced to 14,900 and something. It reached. Can anyone who is so tired, fatigue, brain fatigue, can come here? I can give 3 demos. Please. Here, today in this conference, I would like to emphasize this. These Varma points can be included in this biofeedback therapy that I would like to work with you all. Thank you. Generally for super learning, we used to press a point which we have to give a moderate pressure for the children. The point is at the back. Can you turn? You turn this side. With this thumb, you can do to your friends. You just slide it and you will find a depression. You will find a depression. This is the way to stimulate this point for 30 seconds. Just don't do it fastly. Just you tilt. Gradually, slowly. So there is we heard about the 9 openings in the body. Have you ever aware of that? What are they? 9 openings in the body. Huh? 2 eyes that connect to the environment. 2 ears. 2 nose. How much? How many? Mouth. No? 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the 9. No. No, it is 9 only. Don't complicate.
Don't get technical.
So, these are the things we can visualize. But something inside the body, which is also the opening, which we cannot be visualized. This is called invisible openings. The first invisible opening, which is formed in the baby, is the Muladhara. This is where the energy enters. When the energy enters, this Moolam will close. This is the first thing. Closes, we cannot see it, we cannot visualize it. It is a subtle part. The second thing is the top forehead. You can find the opening in the children, but it is not open. It is closed. The third opening is here. When you see the inner surface of the skull, you will find an opening where the brain and the lower brain comes out in the name of spinal cord. So that is the third opening. That is also invisible. And there is a fourth opening which is called the umbilicus, which receives more and more energy after birth rather than the head. This is the secret. Many sages, you see, they always, you see Indian saints, Indian sages, they have always hair, they knotted the hair here, but they do the meditation in this place. So it is receiving the energy and making it to enter into the umbilicus, into the body through the umbilicus. So with this is the third invisible gate. So we should not stimulate more strongly. We should stimulate gradually and moderately. This will stimulate the brain. And the next technique, which I have done for the world record for the autism children, it stimulates the brain instantly. It comprises of about 13 Varma points stimulated by this method. There is a method. See, this is a single point, so we stimulate in this manner. There are a consequent manner of stimulating the point. So that is the thing I will do now. Close your eyes. You should close your eyes.
Did your neck crack?
Hmm? Actually, this is a demo, so I am doing it slowly. It should be done at a rapid speed. That you open your eyes. How do you feel? What do you feel?
Awesome.
It's instant results. When I was in China, a professor asked me, "What is Varma?" I done this demo. He was in jet lag. So he instantly get energized. This one method. And you can stand up. Someone who has neck ache? Neck ache? Please come.
Actually, it's not a bad idea. Is it right there?
This is a single point stimulation, but on the both sides. So for neck ache, how long you have neck ache? How long you have neck ache?
Long.
Long back, okay. You have cervical spondylosis? Any disc bulge?
No.
Okay. When treating with Varma for neck ache, you should be cautious not to treat the patient who is having disc bulge. the cervical disc bulge. There is a disc between the cervical bones, the neck bones. If the disc is bulged out, protruded out, you should not do this method. Yeah, herniation of the disc. You should not do this method. For general aches, for long-term aches, you can do this method. Slowly go forward. How you feel?
Fresher.
You feel your neck aches? Little reduced? You don't find?
No.
You can't able to answer. But it is not the thing, it doesn't work. It is the thing, it will work gradually, and we will ask tomorrow.